A man dies after a massive brawl breaks out at a Sydney house party. Flights disrupted and cancelled as Bali's Mount Agung erupts again. An emotional Theresa May resigns as Britain's Prime Minister.
The second female Prime Minister, but certainly not the last.
And the resurgent Knights overpower the Roosters.
This is NBN News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. A 16th birthday party in Sydney has ended in tragic circumstances. A teenager killed when the celebrations erupted into a brawl. 4 men have been arrested over the violence, which saw crowds armed with baseball bats and poles turn on each other in the street.
18-year-old Alexioni lost his battle in the middle of a dark street. His desperate mother and family couldn't get close.
They just wanted to be with him. That's all they wanted, they just wanted to be with him.
Killed in a wild brawl as a girl's sweet 16th turned sour.
It was like a war.
Up to 80 teenagers and young people crammed the Chester Road house before something sparked a brutal scrap.
Something petty, something little.
You can imagine it was a chaotic scene.
Baseball bats, wooden poles and metal pipes all used as weapons as car after car arrived and more young people piled in. As terrified witnesses called police for help, the all-in brawl covered the street. Right at the centre, Alex's girlfriend. Witnesses say she did everything she could to stop him getting hit.
He was just like laying there, not moving.
This was a targeted type incident. It wasn't a random attack.
The fight left dozens of others battered and bruised, with 4 19-year-olds hauled away by police. At least 2 had balaclavas stashed in their pockets. Dressed in forensic suits, they were released from Campbelltown Police Station this afternoon.
I'm innocent. I'm just an innocent boy.
Alexioni's friends, who know him as Aleki, also spoke with detectives today.
He was bubbly, he was funny, he was always happy, he's loving.
They say their fight is just beginning to get justice for their friend.
After 3 years and 3 failed attempts to pass her Brexit legislation, Theresa May has fallen on her sword, breaking down as she announced she'll resign next month. The British Prime Minister insisted she tried her very best to deliver Brexit, but acknowledged it wasn't enough. The race now on to replace her.
The end of May came early, though many would say this was long overdue.
I will shortly leave the job that it has been the honour of my life to hold. The second female Prime Minister, but certainly not the last.
Known for her defiance and steel, it was a tearful Theresa May who conceded it was time to go.
I do so with no ill will, but with enormous and enduring gratitude to have had the opportunity to serve the country I love.
She will step down as leader of the Conservatives on June 7, but stay on as Prime Minister until a replacement is chosen by the party. The front-runner is Boris Johnson, former Foreign Secretary and London Mayor. Also in the race, Dominic Raab, May's former Brexit Secretary, Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, Senior Conservative Sir Graham Brady, and Environment Secretary Michael Gove. Theresa May was chosen for the top job by her colleagues in 2016, replacing David Cameron, who resigned after the Brexit referendum.
Well, I feel desperately sorry for Theresa and for Philip. I mean, she worked incredibly hard. She's a dedicated public servant.
Like her predecessor, she was brought undone by one overwhelming issue.
Brexit means Brexit.
Brexit does mean Brexit.
Brexit means Brexit. It is and will always remain a matter of deep regret to me that I have not been able to deliver Brexit.
She weathered years of tough negotiations with European leaders, launched 3 failed attempts to get her deal through Parliament.
The noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it.
And held 6 weeks of talks with the Labour opposition, but couldn't reach a compromise.
I think we need a general election. We don't need another Tory leader installed by Tory MPs.
But her promise to give MPs a vote on a second referendum was the final straw. She was told to walk or be pushed.
For 3 years, she's been battling the seemingly impossible task of delivering Brexit. When she leaves her post, she'll leave that political minefield to her successor.
An unenviable task, with the UK due to leave the EU on October 31, there's still no clear way forward. Theresa May gave an unwavering performance, but ultimately ran out of moves. In London, Amelia Adams, NBN News.
A child is among 13 injured in a suspected terror attack, a parcel bomb exploding in the French city of Lyon. A manhunt is underway for a suspect seen placing a bag in the street moments before the blast.
Wearing a helmet and mask, the suspect pushes a bicycle down a Lyon street. He's captured on CCTV, leaving bags in front of a bakery moments before an explosion. The bomb went off in the early evening, injuring more than a dozen people, including a young girl. The wounded loaded into ambulances and taken to hospital, most with leg injuries, all lucky to have survived. It's believed the parcel bomb was filled with nails and screws. President Emmanuel Macron described it as a suspected terror attack. I want to send my thoughts to the injured and their families, he said. In the aftermath, armed security guard the scene while investigators tried to find those responsible. The attack comes on the eve of European parliamentary elections. Activists have called on President Macron to resign. Security chiefs have warned the threat of attacks is high in a country heavily targeted by terrorist groups in the last 5 years.
Ebony Cavallaro, NBN News. It's a weekend of welcome to country and welcome to cabinet for Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Today he attended an Indigenous march. Tomorrow he's tipped to reveal his new ministry.
The Prime Minister joined AFL great Michael Long's March for Reconciliation.
Well, there can be no us and them. There can only be all of us together.
A week after his election victory march.
How good is Australia?
But having accused Labor of wanting to tax retirees by removing franking credits, the government is set to put retirement incomes like superannuation and the pension under review.
Can you rule out taxes on superannuation and retirees losing out?
Well, yes, we can.
With the retirement of senior cabinet figures, there's vacancies. The Prime Minister's been finalising who he wants in and in what role, and is expected to announce his ministry tomorrow. Linda Reynolds could be given the defence portfolio vacated by Christopher Pyne. Peter Dutton's expected to stay at Home Affairs, Josh Frydenberg as Treasurer, Maurice Payne as Foreign Affairs Minister, Greg Hunt's expected to remain as Health Minister, and Matthias Cormann as Finance Minister.
We are energised by the trust and confidence that the Australian people have placed in us.
But there are likely to be some changes. Environment Minister Melissa Price could be dumped, so too Mitch Fifield and Michaelia Cash. Ken Wyatt could be Australia's first Indigenous Affairs Minister, while veteran Liberal Arthur Senadinos has put his hand up for a return to Cabinet, and the departure of Kelly O'Dwyer opens up the jobs portfolio. There could be a return to Cabinet for women like Susan Lee and Queenslanders like John McVeigh.
There are a lot of talented colleagues excited at the opportunity to serve.
The Prime Minister will welcome his New Look coalition team back to Canberra at a joint party room meeting on Tuesday. Jonathan Kersley, NBN News.
More than 30 firefighters were called out to battle a fire at a home on Sydney's northern beaches this afternoon. Large flames and thick smoke could be seen coming from the property at Avalon, burning dangerously close to surrounding bushland. No one was at home at the time, and it's not clear what started the fire. Samantha Knight was the picture of innocence growing up amongst friends at Sydney's Bondi Beach. Then, in 1986, the 9-year-old crossed paths with serial pedophile Michael Guider, who drugged and killed her. Next month, his 17-year jail term comes to an end, and the fight is on to keep him in prison. Samantha Knight's mum, Tess, in the arms of her little girl's friends, who got to grow up.
On such a day as this, she should be here with us, with her friends, with their children. But while we know some of what happened to Samantha, we don't know everything.
The 9-year-old Bondi schoolgirl was snatched, abused and killed 33 years ago by serial pedophile Michael Guider, alongside her childhood playground, Bondi Beach, her friends, her mum.
Don't release Michael Guider!
Fight to keep the man who took her life behind bars. Their leader, Chantel Hamilton, got away from Michael Guider with her life.
I do it because I was a victim. I do it because I am now a mother.
Samantha's friends, now mothers, are also fighting.
He deserves to remain behind bars. We will deal with this for the rest of our lives, and so should he.
I really feel scared for all the children out there that's going to cross his path.
It was from a beachside apartment in this quiet Bondi street where Samantha Knight went missing. It was August 1986, on a day similar to this one. And for all those years, Michael Guider has held on to his secret, where he hid her body. Michael Guider is due for release on June 6, but the New South Wales government has a date with the Supreme Court next week to try to keep him behind bars for a further 12 months and force him to reveal the location of Samantha's remains.
It would mean something to me, it would mean something to all of us, but let's be very clear, nothing makes this better. There is no better.
Lizzie Pearl, NBN News. A man has been captured after escaping police custody in Singleton and spending 4 days on the run. 26-year-old Bill Mason was arrested at a hotel in Muswellbrook at around 6 o'clock last night. A driver has suffered suspected spinal injuries and bruising to his chest after ramming a power pole at Wallsend. The ute left the road and crashed shortly before 12 p.m. The man was taken to John Hunter Hospital while Ausgrid crews worked to assess the damage.